What is going on, people of YouTube? My name is Kurtyoy, and today I've got another video. This is going to be part 2 of a 3 sort of mini talking thing that I wanted to do, just to get thoughts out there. A lot has happened over the weekend of football, a lot to talk about in the podcast. I can guarantee you it's going to be a juicy one. There is so much stuff to talk about, big rivalries, big departures. But you may have seen earlier today, I put out my thoughts on Brendan Rodgers and why I believe he shouldn't have been sacked. Now this second part is going to be about Dick Advocaat, why I think it was way past the point where he should have left the club, let's say. And the third part is going to be about Jose Mourinho and what his decision on the future should be. But for Dick Advocaat, he was employed as interim, I believe, on the 17th of March, if my memory serves me correct, somewhere around there. And his first win as the actual coach of Newcastle, Sunderland, sorry. I'm probably going to get slated for that, if any Newcastle fans are watching. Was the win against Newcastle. Probably the reason why, if anyone were watching, I'd be killed. But for me, he should have left at the end of the season. He came in, he did his job, and he left. He just about scraped them into survival, and he got 3 wins in charge. So I think I expected more of him. I don't think he should have been employed for the start of this season, which he was. And the reasons for that are key. He's said he's only got 1 year left before he retires. And I've spoke to Joe a lot about this, and I sort of agree with his views. And the fact that, he said that players, aren't going to be bothered because next season they're not going to be playing under him if they're in the Championship or in the Premier League, because he won't be at the club. So for me, they should have let him go because there were better managers out there to go and grab. There were decent managers out there to go and grab. And you're going to put, the statistic that that stunned me was that Newcastle and Sunderland were both in the top 15 of the clubs that spent the most in the transfer window. Then to be bottom of the Premier League, that's alarm bells should be ringing. And if you're going to put, I think according to transfermarks.com, 32 odd million behind the managers leaving at the end of the season, it's just, you've got to let him work with what you got and try and keep everyone in the club and then decide from there. For me, when you're going to put money behind someone, you've got to think, right, we're going to give you quite a lot of time. We know you're going to be here for a few years. Put money behind you. Let's see how you can build the team. He could build the team and then just leave at the end of the season. And he said at the start of the season, I'll leave when I believe someone else will do the job better than me. Which should have been the first game of the season when they got destroyed 4-2 by Leicester. And it was a horrific display. And when they were getting destroyed easily by teams, the worrying thing is at the back for Sunderland. Because you look at that and they've conceded a lot of goals. Well, they've kind of got better, I suppose. Their only win this season is in the League Cup. And they scored 6, but also conceded 3 against Exeter. That is where, alarm bells should be really rattling. Like, there's something wrong here. We conceded 3 goals against Exeter. No disrespect to Exeter, but a Premier League club should not be doing that, whether they're playing a weakened squad or not, for me. And that's where they should have really said, right, we need to get him out, get someone else in, get someone new in. They didn't. For me, it was already too late at that point. I think they should have got rid of him at the end of the season. Like, he already left, just leave it as that, say, well, thank you for your service, thank you for keeping us up. Let's get a new manager and think, right, we're going to give you some time. We know we've got a decent rebuilding job to do. We're going to help you do it. Here's a couple of, like, $1 million. Go and spend it on the players you want. Now, they've got players that Advocaat would have liked, and he was only going to be there for a year. He's now left, so you've got a club which, admittedly, money-wise, compared to Liverpool, it's less than half. But you've got, you've got Lens coming in, Barini coming in, Alvarez, who I haven't seen feature, to be honest, coming in, Kabul, Virginie, Quartes, Matthews and Vila, Yedlin, Toivonen, all coming in, and I'm looking at them thinking, that's a lot of new players. That's new players everywhere. You've got wingers, you've got strikers, you've got midfielders, you've got defenders. And for a manager that's just left and was going to leave at the end of the season, if you put in that much money behind, and that many players behind someone like this, for example, big Sam Allardyce, you know for a fact he's going to be there for the whole year. He'll do a rebuilding job, and he'll do a good job. Because if there's one thing, West Ham fans can criticise, Big Sam, But managers like Big Sam, like Tony Pulis, is one thing they specialise in, and the reason why they're wanted by so many clubs when they become available, is the fact that they get Premier League teams to survive. You know, in the end, you look at all the seasons of the Premier League with West Ham, the relegation was never in doubt. You look at Pulis, never had a team relegated from the Premier League. And that, you know, leads you on to think, well, obviously, they should have brought him in, but it wasn't obvious for them because they decided to keep him. And I just can't get why clubs put so much money behind managers and then either they're pretty much confirmed they're going to leave, or the fact that they're not going to give him time, which is Rodgers' case. And you know, we got a completely different scenario to that in the third video, which is about Mourinho. But I compare it to, you know, Van Gaal. And one thing that Man United fans will like is that recently he spoke out, I think I mentioned in the last podcast, saying Man United can realistically go forth and win the Champions League come 2017, which he didn't say under a different manager. He's looking towards the future. He had money put behind him. Admittedly, they're playing boring football, but he's had money put behind him, and you know, he's been given time by the club. I can't understand why Advocaat remained or was hired back, because he was pretty confident he was going to leave. And for me, they should have just kept it there and moved on. You know, and it's easy to see where Sunderland are going wrong this season. Let's say we'll talk about Advocaat. Conceded 4 against Leicester, 3 against Norwich, just 1 against Swansea luckily, 3 against Exeter, 2 against Villa, 1 against Tottenham, 2 against Bournemouth, 4 against City, 3 against Man United. Oh, and 2 against West Ham as well. That's not good. That's not good. The defence is awful, quite frankly, and that's why someone like Big Sam coming in is an ideal choice. I would say, even if he says he's going to take a year out of football, you've got to put money behind him. You've got to give him, you know, decent wages. You've got to get him into the club, because if you get Big Sam into the club, I don't think Sunderland are getting relegated. And I'm looking at this, I'm thinking if Sunderland go up, I think Newcastle have got to go up as well. That leaves Villa stranded below. And as much as I like Tim Sherwood, I don't think he's going to be able to keep him up. Then you've got a big dogfight. You've got West Brom on 8. I'm going to exclude Chelsea for the fact that I still think that, you know, although I joke about them being a relegation battle, they will push up in the end. They'll get the wins in the end. Bournemouth on 8, Stoke on 9, Norwich on 9, Watford on 10, Swansea on 10. Couple of good results. All those teams, all of a sudden, are pulled straight into the relegation battle. At the moment, you know, you've got Newcastle and Sunderland on 3, Aston Villa on 4, there's West Brom on 8. There's a big gap, you know, and I'm looking at the squad they played against West Ham at home. They went 2-0 up, Fletcher and Lenz. Their defence collapsed again. Jenkins in the 45th minute, Payet in the 60th, and maybe even lucky to get the point. You know, and I'm looking at the squad, the defence they've got. They've got Pantilimon, Yedlin, Quartez, O'Shea and Jones. There's no consistency there, because Cabal, obviously, I think is still suspended. You've got Wes Brown, Wes Brown and O'Shea, I think, were partnered there. They proved that they were a good partnership. I think maybe Wes Brown has obviously lost a bit of it. You've got Van Arnholt's come in. You know, they've got so many choices at the back. You know, it's strange. And with Mvila and Catamol sitting in front of them, you could have a good, you know, 6 defenders there, and they're still getting breached time and time again. And I don't understand how you can let it happen time and time again without improving. Now Advocaat has gone, I think definitely it will be worth, you know, looking at the manager. Maybe not rushing into it, looking who's about, looking at survival rate. You don't want to bring someone a foreign in. I think for me, I'm not going to try and call myself racist. Bringing a foreign manager in is wrong. Give someone the job who's had experience in the English leagues, experience with teams that struggle like Sunderland at the moment, and experience, someone with experience that will keep the team up and has a history of doing it. No matter what league in the English league, you need someone who's ready for the English, you know, English challenge. You know, you see managers like Bilic coming in, first job in England. But for me, I think West Ham have proved now they're not going to be relegation candidates. They've swept up the table, and currently, looking at that, they are 5th, I think. Arsenal might have moved up in front of them, so they're out of the top 4 now. But you know, it remains the same. They've had a fantastic season. For me, what does Sunderland need to do? They need to hire someone like Big Sam. I can't say enough. Big Sam must be their main priority. But thank you guys for watching. Nevertheless, if you have liked this video, then leave a like. Let me think in the comments down below, and subscribe if you feel like I'm worthy. And next up, we've got Jose Mourinho and what I think their next move at Chelsea should be. Peace.